beautiful. I just love it. I think I'll go with my middle one. And maybe that one too. This is just a sketch. I don't intend this to be anything all that serious. Just a little memory of what I found, and just the day in general was quite a nice one. I apologize if you can hear the air conditioning running in the background. It is way too hot today to not have the air conditioning running, I tell you. What I'm doing is I'm just making squiggly lines. I kind of mapped out where the browner bits are, not all of them. When you're doing something from a photograph, you're using a photo as your reference, you need to learn to take out detail. Not everything needs to be put down on your paper. Just the main parts, and the brain will fill in the rest. The person that views it, their brain will go, oh, that's a mushroom, even though you didn't add every single little tiny detail. Look at how pretty that is. It's mixing with the green and giving me a very unique color. Very pretty. I haven't used these Graphitint watercolors nearly as much as I've wanted. I always tend to go for either watercolor pencils or actual watercolors, but these are so pretty, and because it's more limited in the colors you have available, really forces you to get creative, and that's nice. I like that. All right. I want to use this. This had quite a dark lip around the little papery deal around its stem. I'm going to try to get that in. When you're painting in colors that are not the same as your photo, all you have to do is make sure that your values are correct. Value is how light or how dark something is. If you have that light enough or dark enough, then it doesn't really matter what colors you use. It'll work, and it'll work beautifully. Oh boy, what a beautiful color. Look at that. What is that? That is Storm. Oh, it is so pretty. You see how I'm not being too careful about how I'm putting the pigment down. That's because it dissolves with the water, and it doesn't really matter what direction your lines are going in or how you put it down. You don't have to be too careful. You can just kind of scribble it down and it'll be just fine. Look at that. See? Now I'm going to scribble in the other direction from left to right. And there's literally no difference. What art supplies would you guys like to see me use next? Let me just double check. Okay, that is the right color. What would you like to see me use? Leave me a comment down below. I don't have that many things, but I do have watercolor pencils. I have a couple different types of watercolor pencils. I have normal colored pencils. I have lots of watercolor. And one thing that I'm getting more and more interested in is acrylic pens, or acrylic markers, I guess is what they're the proper name for them. And I am just fascinated with acrylic markers. So you might see me doing a few videos with those once they come. It really is such a beautiful day out. I hope you guys are having a good day. My day's been a good one. Did homeschooling with the kids. Now they're off at church for a youth meeting. And I'm just chilling at home. Aren't they pretty? I love mushrooms. I think I'm going to darken around the outside of it just a little bit, just to make that color pop a bit. I want the white creaminess of the mushrooms to really show up. So I'm just going to make a box around them. Just a quick tip, when you're using, well, colored pencils in general, but even watercolor pencils, always sharpen them before you start using them, because having a nice sharp point will go a long ways towards making your experience better and just allowing you to get in there and get the pigment down. Working with a dull pencil is not a pleasant experience. So keep a sharpener close by. I have this old sharpener. I actually stole it from my daughter. I think it's Faber-Castell made this, but there's a lot of good sharpeners out there you could use. Okay, I'm going to switch my brush to something slightly bigger. Ooh, look at that. Isn't that a beautiful color? And I am not done with the mushrooms yet. I'm just waiting for them to dry a bit. That's why I'm working on something else while I wait. botanical art. I've tried botanical art just a little bit. Spending so much time to add all those details is it's just not me. I think there's some very beautiful artworks out there where the artist obviously spent 25, 30, 40 hours making a particular flower, plant, or tree branch. And it's very pretty. But it is so not what I have fun doing. For me, the fun is in just getting the paint down, using all the colors. Alright, so now I can better see the creaminess of the mushrooms coming out. And because I have this gray blue background, I know now that that is not dark enough. Remember what I said about values? You can use any color you want to put in your values, but it does need to be dark enough. I'm going to use two different colors here. I'm going to go in with dark indigo and juniper. And I'm going to use them both on the stem here. Hopefully these will mix and create a beautiful dark stem for this mushroom. Oh, look at that. Isn't that pretty? See? Nice. And one thing about watercolors, and not so much with proper graphite, but it's pretty true with these Derwent pencils, is that they do dry a little bit lighter than they look when they're wet. Not by much, by a little bit. So you do need to take that in mind. And when in doubt, just layer. Layer. It's better to have many layers and slowly get the value you want than to put it down too quickly from the very beginning. Alright. I do have a shadow in here. Kind of just, who's down the side of the shadow? And another one that comes like this. And like this. This is ocean blue. Now, I did not give much thought beforehand as to what colors I was going to use. I am going very much by instinct with just based on the previous experience I have using these colors, and just what my instinct tells me. I guess you can almost call it intuitive watercolor or intuitive coloring. If you've spent time getting to know your colors and you know a bit about value and shape, then you can go ahead and just go instinctively with things and see what you come up with, really, is what it's all about. And most of all, just having fun. It's okay to have fun. Remember, this is a sketchbook. This isn't supposed to be a finished painting. Now you see how I connected the two mushrooms there? That's called a lost edge, and it's just a little technique that you can use to connect two objects, and it just helps to create a more interesting composition. So that's something when you're doing your own sketches, when you're practicing in your sketchbook, see if you can find any places that you can connect and make a lost edge. You can connect shadow areas, or you can connect light areas. See what you can come up with. Again, that's the whole point of the sketchbook. You're practicing, you're playing, you're seeing what your colors can do. There. I like the way that's looking. I think I'm going to go over it again with my darker color. Not quite there enough. This time I'm just going closer to the edge of the mushroom, and I'm not going to do the whole thing because I think I want it to fade out into that lighter blue. Well, what do you guys think so far, huh? Does it look like a mushroom still? Have I lost the mushroominess of it? Just got some lines going up like that. Like I said before on my channel, I am not trying to recreate a photograph. I'm trying to make art. I respect the artists that do that sort of thing. To each their own. This is my sort of thing. Mushroom, if you look closely, it also has all these little tiny knobby things on it. So we can add some of that in. This looks like a map almost, doesn't it? It looks like a little continent there with land masses and an ocean around it. I don't know how successful that particular mushroom is. Just going to go in with a slightly different color here. I'm intentionally adding lines so that I can create some texture. So far, I haven't had any problems with these colored pencils breaking when I sharpen them, so that's been nice. Sometimes you get colored pencils and they just break every single time you try to sharpen them, and you end up with nubs, these little nubby things, even though you haven't had a chance to really use them yet. There, I think that's it for today. I might add, I don't know, maybe a Bible verse or a little saying or something here, or maybe down here. We'll see. I do consider this to be a journal at the end of the day, so I'll get out one of my pens and add a little entry there, but I'll do that just for me. That's not going to be going onto YouTube. So, what do you guys think? In the end, I went back in and I darkened up the background around the mushrooms because I felt that the previous version was just a little bit too bland. Please like and subscribe if you've liked this video. Thank you for watching. Lita out.